Picture this. A woman scrolls through Instagram, meticulously crafting her weekend schedule. Brunch with friends, a networking mixer, a late-night party. Her acquaintances observe and think, such a social butterfly, so connected, so full of life. Arthur Schopenhauer, the grand pessimist of philosophy, would call her misguided. Why so? Is it hatred for people? Not at all. It's because she doesn't grasp what being social actually does to her. Nearly all our miseries begin with our interactions with others. Schopenhauer's answer was unwavering. No. Here's what's flawed about socializing. What you make isn't bonds. What you shape are compromises. What you form aren't real friendships. They're mere fronts. What you gain isn't popularity. It's inauthenticity. If you think mingling is the road to self-discovery, Schopenhauer has caution for you. Wander into any cafe, any workplace party, any Saturday night event, and you'll see it. People trading genuine validation for shallow approval, turning small talk into supposed intimacy, mistaking being accepted for being fulfilled. They scroll down group messages calling it camaraderie. They join networking gatherings claiming it's self-improvement. They forfeit serene nights for loud parties and believe it's living. Yet Schopenhauer utterly disagrees. Every society, just to exist, requires mutual bending and the restriction of its members. These people are lost in what Schopenhauer saw as humanity's supreme mirage. They believe they choose sociability, while in truth it's herd instinct running their choices. Here's the cold truth. Every exchange they make is a transaction. The cost is authenticity traded for approval, inner tranquility exchanged for external validation, their real essence swapped for fleeting comfort of fitting in. Because Schopenhauer saw something most fail to understand about people. Consistent agreeability isn't genuinely respected. People recognize the facade. Who always offers no opinion soon seems dull. Those always agreeing face suspicion. This confusion leads to the core mistake. The social butterfly confuses outer performance with inner self. These are victims of what Schopenhauer called the cleverest self-delusion humans ever face. They believe they chose company, when in truth the environment picked for them. Each onlooker reading this scene is running mental sums. The sharp catch the mask, the wise spot the cage underneath. The enlightened evade it completely for solutions found only in solitude. Schopenhauer had a rule here. One can only truly be oneself in solitude. Without love for isolation, one won't ever love freedom. But today's socialite keeps ignoring this rule. She fills her hours with talk, tries to mask silent moments in clamor, and exchanges her reflection for crowd comfort. Her life is thus converted into others' entertainment. But then, reality strikes, and it strikes mercilessly. The less thoughtful someone is, the less mystery existence will hold for him. This is the awkward reality for any soul running after perpetual company. You did not choose this trail. You were pulled. That night you overstayed, the joke you forced just to blend in, the random chatter you mistaken for friendship. None really came from true intent. Choice wasn't yours. It was all steered by what Schopenhauer termed emptiness born of endless need. No one ever outlined this more piercingly than him. Lost wealth replaced by industry, lost learning replaced by study, lost health rescued by discipline or medicine. But wasted time is lost for good. Most seek social life unconsciously. They rush into company and ignore deeper reflection. Do these dialogues even matter to me, or do I merely dread silence? Am I growing stronger or numbing my mind with babble? Have I looked at what parts of myself are traded just to fit in. Is it truly my decision, or is it just routine and weakness running things? The real tragedy emerges only when it's already late. Every social choice forces a deep philosophical cost. Freedom is always the price. Maybe the group amuses you while minutes quietly vanish. Often it simply drains you, leaving an empty fog of regret. Socializing rarely cares about your clarity, nor does it value independence. It pulls into endless noise and triviality. By the time you notice, your inner world is already cluttered. The wise dodge these snares. Value is not measured by contacts. Gatherings are not chased to avoid one's own thoughts. Company isn't mistaken for true connection. Thus, social existence holds its hidden peril. The common person plans how to spend his hours. A person with talent puts his time to work. Schopenhauer observed that solitude and mastery belong together. As long as you let others occupy your hours, you drift away from conscious presence. Yet most people do the reverse. Evenings are given over to talk, mornings lost to recovery from company. Life becomes constant disturbance and distraction. Step into this circle of availability and people use you for noise, not for real alliance. The pleasing illusion of friendship masks a far deeper mechanism. Constant withdrawal of your focus and time. They arrive not for wisdom, but your presence. Not to respect silence, but to fill it with their chatter. Not to enrich your mind, but to empty it out. The sociable one thinks he's winning merely by being called friendly. He doesn't see that his valuable hours are stealthily stolen, the hours that could build self-mastery. Schopenhauer named this the blindness of distraction, not seeing that never-ending company disguises dependence, that slight amusements obscure hollowness, that the approval of others signals inner erosion. For one always responding to invites and attending shallow events, every dinner is draining, every trivial chat is a break in progress, every weekend trip is a detour from self-growth. Every empty dialogue subtracts opportunity for personal improvement. And expect your presence needed by default if you become perpetually available. Those who should have supported you now come burdens. Optional connections become enforced obligations. This is what Schopenhauer called the misery of dependence, and the crowd's solution is always wrong. Folly infects, spreading like an epidemic. Here's the harsh reality about stupidity. It always spills beyond its source. You think irrationality is a personal flaw, a nuisance easy to ignore. It's not. Foolishness leaks. It spreads everywhere. Before you realize it, silence and clarity are lost in the growing racket. It's not a private defect, but a public danger. You won't fix it by debating with the herd. The herd does not debate. You won't lift it by teaching. The crowd does not learn, only copies. You won't defeat it by spelling out truths. They'll reject, drown, and claim their racket is insight. To Schopenhauer, the wise echoed the same themes, while the masses, being majority, always chose the opposite. Yet crowds persist under a delusion, believing that belonging yields truth instead of the other way around. Observe those who anchor their thoughts to public sentiment. The discerning mind is made one of us. His focus is hijacked by social chorus. His principles held hostage to uninvested opinion, lost if he ever dares to dissent. Expecting collective wisdom thus inverts the actual laws of philosophy. True focus comes from isolation, not society. Real insight forms from independent thinking, not from imitating popular views. Society promises connection and affirmation as life's purpose, while philosophy shows this only comes through courage and deep reflection. The really inquiring mind questions the rules others take for granted. Must security always depend on approval and company? Is anything gained by conforming to others' wishes? Does submitting to social pressure build the mind or simply enforce old patterns? What might happen to my creativity if I transcended constant validation? Priority must shift from craving approval to growing thought. Focus on nurturing the mind above crowd demand. Choose reflection and creative freedom instead of pressuring your own ideas toward group consensus. Solitude is the nursery of talent. Truth many never confront. Your distractions and concessions were open doors, not inevitabilities. When you run after approval or judge all thoughts against the background hum of others, freedom slips away. You are not acting independently but shaped by subtle social forces. Schopenhauer explained it cleanly. Society binds the mind with habit and reward, sustaining dependence where liberation is needed. If accomplishments depend on others' acceptance, you stand on shaky ground. Your work isn't treasured as you hope. Your vision is recast by crowd feedback. Your devotion is overlooked or resented. Defining purpose through public support is at the heart of all failure. Real meaning grows only from what you conceive independently. True legacies form from unique thought, not submission. Lasting achievement comes from what you cultivate alone, not the validation of many. This insight matters. Others will march to their own tunes, define goals, create their environments. Long-term impact comes from attention and energy governed personally, not collectively. Solitude is not just an empty space of fear. Schopenhauer summarized our journey so: all truths endure 3 phases. First, ridicule. Second, ferocious opposition. Last, obvious acceptance. True flourishing happens when minds refuse to bend, finding strength in silent independence. Those rich inside themselves need little from others, so others matter less. Once you abandon the urge to measure everything by social feedback and claim your life as your own, you become more yourself. Growth rises, not falls. Wisdom appears, never diminishes. Powerful selfhood is never built by pleasing others or collecting obligations, but in thinking with clarity, acting with freedom, and making ideas your own. Depth and real integrity shine naturally. They need little explanation, just detection in how you now live. The biggest pleasure is freedom from others, says Schopenhauer, because only then can your mind truly blaze its path. The dependent always worries about judgment. Every decision must be justified. Every idea seems to beg for permission. Every plan is weighed against imagined reaction. Wise minds juggle many priorities, learning when inspired, creating without permission, and embracing understanding when ready. This flexibility is what makes genuine insight possible. Not selfishness, but holistic awareness. Not avoidance, but thoughtful action. Not lovelessness, but authentic choice. The greatest art is not finding ways to satisfy the world, but learning how to stand alone. The stronger and more self-governed a man is, the less he serves anyone else's agenda. The summit of individuality is living on your terms, for in silent retreats, selfhood emerges fully. If solitude is denied, so too is true liberty. This journey to self is both rebellion and revelation, a breakaway from pressure, and a discovery of your deepest capacities. Schopenhauer's musings challenge us to rethink our place. The secret of self is not to be solved, but to be enacted, a lifelong revealing of your inner terrain. Each thought and feeling a step further toward knowing yourself. The highest wisdom is to see that all knowledge is ignorance, And the greatest insight is embracing the limits of what we know.